Welcome, quilters! Last year I introduced the tree template, and it does this lovely tree design that can be just an evergreen or a Christmas tree. And I taught you how to rotate it around in a block to create the design. This is rotated around the top of the tree. Then I showed you how to do around the base of the tree and the 4-point, the 8-point, and the 6-point. And I told you I would teach you more a little later. Well, later has come. Let's take a look at border designs. All right, so let's investigate the tree template a little bit more. We have a template that is squarish. It's got a top branch opening, a middle branch opening, a lower branch opening, and a base opening. All of them have a line that says center of tree. This is the important part when there's center of tree and center of tree. That's the important part when we are creating a border design. So let's play with creating a border of a series of trees stacked on top of each other going down a border. So I am going to start with my top branch. I'm going to hook it right on there, and I'm going to line up my center of tree line with the line that is on my quilt. This could be a seam, or this could be the center of a border design. I'm going to stitch from the top of my branch out to that edge and across. I'm going to switch to my middle branch, lining up center of tree. Go out and back in. Switch to the lower branch. Okay, now this is the way I prefer to do borders. I like to cross over from one side to the other. Personally, my stitching method, I do much better when I cross from one side of the center line and then come back up. Some people are fine with going all the way down, and if that works for you, kudos for you. Do it that way. I personally go from one side to the other. So now, since I'm going to the other side, I need to put my trees on the other side, my branches on the other side of this one. So I'm stopped on the line. As always, while I have fabric gripping action on the back of my tools, I cannot put it on the front. So if I want it to be grippy and not slide all around, I am going to spray my tool, the top of it, with this grippy spray. It works wonderful. So now I've put a little bit of grippy on the top of my tool, and I'm going to flip the tool over, hook the top branch onto my foot, and again, line up the center of tree line with my line on my quilt. And I am going to stitch the top branch. Switch to the middle branch, line up my center of tree line, and stitch my branch. Lower branch, center of tree line, flip the tool over, find the top branch, and continue down. All right, hang for a moment while I get to the bottom of my border design. Okay, I have reached the bottom of my border, so now it's time to go back. So I'm going to cross all the way over, go back up to the top of my base, and hook the lower branch onto my design, onto my foot, and I'm going to put the branches in reverse order from the bottom of the branch to the top of the branch. There's the lower branch. There's the middle branch. So you'll always know if you've gotten the wrong branch. If you accidentally pick up the wrong branch, your center of tree line will not be on your line. So if everything doesn't match up, just check your branches. You got the wrong branch. A lovely border of trees. Now, this would be the most traditional, but there's absolutely nothing that says you can't turn those trees upside down and right side up going back and forth. So here is the two options for border designs. Now let's talk about those horizontal borders. Wouldn't it be lovely to have a line of trees going across the border of a quilt? Say, just like so. Well, let's talk about how we're going to do that. All right, so when you're doing a horizontal design, you do have to think about whether or not you want the branches touching, if you want them separated out, or if you want them overlapping. I personally went with them more or less touching. The distance between the center of one tree to the center of another is 4 inches. If you go less than 4 inches, your trees will overlap. If you go more, you'll have space in between. After you have your horizontal line, maybe it's on a seam, you're going to want to mark your vertical lines. So I am going to start with my tree, the center of my first tree, 3 inches from the edge of the quilt. The center of the tree is 4 inches wide, so that'll give me 2 inches from the border. And I'm going to mark in a vertical line. All right. I'm going to start at the base of my first tree, and I'm going to go up one side, across and up one side of the tree. So across the base and up. So I need to put in a lower on the right hand side. Again, going to line up my center of tree. Move to the middle. All right, and now my base. All right, now you have options. You can meander your way over to the other center, or you can use your straight line tool to go right down to the next center point. Let me get myself down there. All right, now I'm now back at the center of my next tree. And again, I'm going to put in the base and each of the branches. So hang for a few minutes and we'll get this second tree done. All right, you can see how I'm going to do this. I'm just going to continue on and we'll show you the end result. So a line of trees across the bottom of your quilt. Again, you have options. You can do a meander or you can do a straight line. You can intersect them. You can put them further apart, whatever makes you happy. Let's talk a couple of other designs that you can do. And this time for border designs, this time we're going to work with just a single branch of the tool. So as you can see here, you can do a lot of different border designs, quick and easy. This is the lower branch. This is the lower branch flipped upside down and right side up. This is the medium branch, and this is the top branch. Don't those just make lovely designs? So let's see how we're going to do that. All right, so there's a couple of different lines on here, and we're going to use a different line than we've been using. Up until now, we've been doing a full tree, and we've been using this center of line tree. But to create these other border designs and to create the spirographs, we're not going to use center of tree. We're going to turn it slightly, and we're going to use the lines that are right here and right here at the top part of the branch and at the lower part, the start and stop points of the branches. Okay, each of these branches have a different set of lines, and that's what is going to be used for both these border designs as well as the spirographs. So starting with my lower branch, I'm going to hook on and line up my lines, the other two lines on the seam or line I've drawn on my fabric. So you can see now how instead of the tree creating a branch, which it would this way, it's going to create more of a fan or a heart look. So I'm going to stitch from the start point to the stop point. And again, never forget that I prefer to go from one side of my center line to the other. If you prefer going all the way down, then go ahead and use that method. Now, because I'm going from one side to the other, I'm going to flip my template, line it up on those extra lines that we've got in there, and stitch. Alright, now when I'm ready to go back up, I simply fill in the opposite side of the design. One simple design. This is just one lesson. We're going to show you some variations, but now you've got this look, or personally, I think this way it looks like a series of fans. All right, so you saw how I did that one. I flipped back and forth. Let's look at a couple of variations that you can get with the tool as well. I'm going to stick and show you the variations all with the large tool, but then I'll show you what the other tools will look like in the variations as well. I think. At any rate, let's start another line and let's do it one tiny variation so you can see what happens with just a simple variation. All right, so just like last time, I'm starting the same direction and I'm going to go from the top to the bottom, okay? But instead of over here, I pulled the tool off and I flipped it. We're not going to do that this time. So I'm here. I'm going to rotate around and line it back up. So I've turned my branch upside down. Now just rotate around that foot until you can realign it. All right, I'm at the bottom of my border and I need to go back up. So now I'm going to flip my template over and do exactly the same thing. Flip it over, make sure that you have lined up the bottom, the big portion of the branch, again on the bottom, okay? Now we just reverse the direction. Rotate around the template. Line up. So here they are fans, and here they're still fans, but they're in an hourglass shape. So one template here is giving you lots and lots of tools. There are variations in borders. We're going to do one more variation. So here I've taken the lower branch just straight down in a design. That's how it would look vertically. Here's how it would look horizontally, or maybe like this. It all depends on what you're doing for a quilt. Here I have gone from one side. This one would be flipped around. You can see that the arc here. So here's another option. Here I've finished them off. So here you've got the different looks all from one branch. In playing around with the tool, I found one more set of border designs in here. And these are kind of funky. And I had so much fun doing them. This is the lower branch, this is the medium branch, and this is the top branch. Perhaps it will work for your quilt. Let's see how I did that. All right, so just like this one, we're going to start off with the same first method. Let's get it started. We are going to do the same thing that we did the last time. I'm going to put in one lower branch. I'm going to rotate my template around the foot, line it up, and bring it back down. All right, so last time I took the tool and I flipped it this way, okay? This time I'm left here, I'm gonna bring it down to the top. I'm gonna roll it around, and basically, I'm not gonna flip it over. I'm going to now go from the top to the bottom. And in the past, you can see how this one is a mirror of the other. This one is not. So once again, here, I went from this side, flipped the tool over, and went to the other side. For this one, I'm here. I'm going to move down, the template down, and now rotate it around the foot. Rotate, don't switch sides again. Going back up, you just rotate around the foot. You only switch sides when you get to the bottom of your border. So 3 border designs, all using the same branch, but they look so much different. What are you going to find in the branches? I hope you enjoyed learning how to do trees in the border designs. We did vertical designs, we did horizontal designs, and then we took and checked out all the different designs you can do using just a single branch. The tree template comes in 3 different thicknesses: 1/4-inch acrylic for your long armors and some high shank machines. I'm on a Bernina machine, so I use the 1/4-inch. There's 3/16 for some high shanks and some low shanks. I know the Baby Lock likes to use for their low shank machines, the 3/16, and some Juki home machines like 3/16. And then for your very low shank machines, like some Brothers, Pfaff and Viking, there's 1/8-inch acrylic as well. I hope you enjoyed playing with the tree template and creating your border designs. I look forward to seeing a lot of quilts with trees in their borders. If you're looking for the spiral designs, that will be in a separate video. Have fun, ladies and gentlemen, quilting, and may you have thousands of different designs. Play with your templates.